These are the GoPro accessories that you may have never ever seen before and actually got canceled. Now let's get gnarly. So the first GoPro accessory that's really observed is the Optical GoPro Viewfinder, which is also known as the Hazard for Cyclone. This is pretty useless because it's basically just having is a funnel right behind the GoPro screen, which makes totally no sense. And I don't really support that because it's more like a scam on that observe GoPro accessory, because it's really just like a tube looking through a tube. Almost like a telescope, but there's no actual lens with it. And it's super cheesy or super obvious that you wouldn't even get it. So I wonder why that person even created it, because it's pretty suspicious. The next one up is the HandlePod, which is like a 3-axis gimbal. But guess what it is? It's not really a gimbal at all. This reason is mostly because it's not a gimbal, because it's just steel hooked up with another like screw, and it's just connected on top of each other. It doesn't really do anything with it. So it's pretty obvious, just like the other one, it's not that useful. Because there are like these handles that you would like usually see on top of like the camera or the DSLR or mirrorless cameras, and you usually see that as just holding it, like holding it from the waist and up high, or even low down shots. But instead, you would just mount a GoPro on top when there's obviously a hot shoe mount. Plus, it's actually connected to the lens, so that's really far off. It cannot really give a bad look, and it could fall. It can give your cache some trouble. Number 3, this one you probably had seen because it's not really canceled, because GoPro does make this too. It's basically a bite mount with a floaty. So with this bite mount and floaty, it can just stay like hands-on hands. So basically you have like free hands, like not like me right now just holding the GoPro with my actual hand right now. But then the actual thing with that is that it's actually onto your mouth. I know Brendan Bingham from TIHWB. If you don't know who that is, you can go ahead and check that out. But basically, Brendan Bingham from This Is How We Bingham, they basically use that mount all the time. It's pretty ridiculous to see, but it's also fun to see.
It steadies the video more than it would if it was strapped to your forehead. So the reason I do this is twofold. One, because it's gonna be a natural stabilizer in your head. So as you look and as you move and as your body bounces, clearing it right here is gonna be a little bit smoother footing.
So that mount, it's pretty observed, just like the rest, or like not so greatly designed, but it still works for its actual use. The fourth GoPro accessory is also called the GoPro Knuckles. Basically, you have is like the GoPro actually like hooked up to your knuckles onto your hand, which is because I remember just holding the camera, it will actually hook and lock out your actual knuckle, and you don't want to lock or stiffen up your knuckle, which is why I wouldn't really use it. But I know that oftentimes some people would actually use that. So would you or would you not? There's also this thing called the hat base, but the hat base is like a hat basically as your tripod, which again, I wouldn't really recommend all of these products, but it's pretty crazy how there is a hat basically on top of a tripod, and if your tripod has a red camera on it, it wouldn't even last that long. It would just really just fall off. The next weird GoPro accessory is the unicorn one from Insta360 of the unicorn helmet mount, which is used by Ben Schmanke from Offend Tech. If you're starting a channel, you can go ahead and check that live stream. It's basically a long GoPro or 360 camera extension on top of your helmet. So just like my helmet right here, it's basically like a mount right there, but it like extends like 5 or 6 or so inches, half of the 12 inches on the ruler, I gotta say. And the last GoPro accessory is the GoPro bottle opener, because you wouldn't really need a bottle opener when you actually go and use your GoPro under the sea, even when traveling would really open up. Basically, it's just a tool there that's just being a tool, but it's not being actually used. Now, these are the weirdest GoPro accessories that you probably had never ever seen before and actually got canceled or are still being used today. Check out this playlist right here to learn more about the GoPro Hero 9, and if you are actually having the GoPro Hero 9 or any other GoPro while building your channel, go ahead and click on that subscribe button because, you know, this will benefit your channel within growing in 2021 and towards using it towards your full advantage. Now, shaka and mahalo.